Who?
The fifth element. The supreme being sent to Earth to save the universe.
A teenage director's fantasy that nearly bankrupted a studio?
You know, all these people who helped you when you're young, and I couldn't give the fifth element to them because we were there.
An opera singer who performs the impossible?
To those 50 billion pair of ears out there! Pop it, D-man!
And a superstar who refused to ever meet Bruce Willis on set. The future is full of secrets. And today we're diving into the multipass. These are the cinema secrets you missed in The Fifth Element. Number 1, the teenage dream script. Luc Besson wrote the original story for The Fifth Element when he was just 16 years old, living in Paris and dreaming of becoming a filmmaker.
There's this story in my mind since I'm 16 years old, so I just have this fantasy in my head. And
the script sat in a drawer for over 20 years before he finally had the clout and budget to make it happen. Besson claimed he wrote it during a dark period in his adolescence.
And you can write the 500 horses just around, no, the 2,000 horses around.
Imagining a perfect being who could save the world. The original draft was far darker and more philosophical than what we got on screen. When he finally revisited it in the mid-1990s, he lightened the tone and added the comedic elements that make the film so unique, transforming his teenage angst into something joyful and colorful. Number 2, the budget that nearly killed it. The Fifth Element cost $90 million to produce.
So whatever is the budget, it's always outside of this circle.
Making it the most expensive European film ever made. At the time, the French studio Gaumont financed most of it and nearly went bankrupt in the process. American studios had passed on the project, finding it too weird and too expensive for what seemed like a niche sci-fi comedy. The film had to make back almost $300 million worldwide just to break even after marketing costs. Fortunately, it became a massive international hit, earning over $260 million globally and saving Gaumont from financial ruin. The risk paid off, but executives were sweating through every week of its theatrical run. Number 3, The Prince That Got Away. Prince was Luc Besson's first choice to play Ruby Road. The flamboyant radio host Besson flew to Minneapolis to meet with Prince personally and pitch him the role. Prince read the script, loved the character, but ultimately turned it down because he didn't want to play someone so overtly sexual and comedic. Chris Tucker got the role instead and completely transformed it through improvisation. Tucker's performance became so iconic that many people consider Ruby Rhod one of the most memorable characters in 1990s science fiction. Interestingly, Tucker has said in interviews that he based much of Ruby's vocal style and mannerisms on Prince anyway, creating an ironic homage to the artist who rejected the role. Number 4, casting Bruce over Mel. Mel Gibson was Luc Besson's original choice for Corbin Dallas, but Gibson passed on the project, finding the script too strange and European for his taste. Besson then approached Bruce Willis, who had just come off a string of action hits and was looking for something different. Willis loved the visual style and the humor, signing on immediately. The role required Willis to play both action hero and everyman, something he'd perfected in Die Hard but rarely got to combine with science fiction. Gibson later admitted he regretted turning it down after seeing the finished film. Number 5, the Moebius connection. Legendary comic book artist Jean Giraud, known as Moebius, was hired to design the entire visual aesthetic of the film. Every costume, vehicle, weapon, and building passed through his sketchbook first. Moebius had previously worked on concept art for Alien, Tron, and The Abyss, but The Fifth Element gave him complete creative freedom. His influence is visible in every frame, from the rounded, organic shapes of the taxicabs to the elongated proportions of the aliens. Avoiding the cold, sterile aesthetic of most science fiction in favor of something warm, lived in, and utterly unique. Number 6, the 900 costumes nightmare. Jean-Paul Gaultier designed over 900 costumes for The Fifth Element. Many worn for mere seconds of screen time. Gaultier, known for his avant-garde fashion work with Madonna, was given complete freedom to create outrageous designs that pushed boundaries. The McDonald's uniforms alone required weeks of development. Mila Jovovich's thermal bandage costume became iconic, but was extremely difficult to apply. Taking hours each day, Gaultier created specific costumes for nearly every background extra in the Flo Paradise scenes, believing that world building required attention to every detail. Number 7. The miniature New York. The futuristic New York City was created using an enormous practical miniature model rather than pure CGI, which was still limited in 1997. The model measured over 30 feet long and contained thousands of individual buildings, flying cars, and light sources. The special effects team spent 6 months constructing it, adding layer upon layer to create the sense of vertical depth. They filmed it using motion control cameras that could repeat exact movements for different passes. CGI was then added on top to enhance the flying cars and add atmospheric effects, but the foundation was always the physical model. Number 8. The Diva's Impossible Song. The Diva Plava Laguna's opera performance combines traditional aria with alien vocalizations that are literally impossible for human vocal cords to produce. Composer Eric Serra worked with opera singer Inva Mula to record the human possible parts first. Then Serra digitally manipulated and layered her voice to create the superhuman rapid-fire notes that follow. The piece combines elements of Lucia de Lammermoor with original compositions specifically designed to showcase non-human vocal abilities. Mula recorded her parts over 3 days, singing until her voice was raw. The digital manipulation took weeks, with Serra editing individual notes to create the impossible transitions. Number 9. Gary Oldman's no-contact contract. Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis never shared a single scene together in The Fifth Element, and more remarkably, they never met on set at all. This was intentional from Besson's perspective, keeping the hero and villain separated until a potential sequel. All of Oldman's scenes were filmed separately from Willis's. With the two actors working on completely different shooting schedules, Oldman has said in interviews that he didn't meet Willis until the film's premiere in Cannes. The separation adds to Zorg's detachment from the main story, making him feel like he exists in a parallel narrative. This technique is extremely rare in big-budget films where actors typically interact during publicity and rehearsals. Number 10. Mila's method madness. Mila Jovovich created an entire functional language for Lilu, complete with grammar rules and vocabulary that extended far beyond what appears in the film. She filled notebooks with translations and backstory, developing Lilu's psychology and the divine language's structure. Jovovich worked with Besson to ensure every line of alien dialogue had specific meaning rather than being random sounds. She practiced the language for months before filming, speaking it at home until it felt natural. The dedication shows in her performance, where Lilu's alien speech patterns feel consistent and genuine. Jovovich also kept a detailed journal as Lilu, writing entries from the character's perspective about discovering Earth. Number 11. The Chris Tucker ad-lib percentage. Chris Tucker improvised approximately 70% of his dialogue as Ruby Rod, transforming what was originally a much smaller role. Besson encouraged Tucker to experiment, and Tucker responded by creating an entirely new character voice, physicality, and energy level. The screaming, the sexual innuendos, and the manic delivery were all Tucker's inventions.
Those knees, my knees, cause Herb's in the place and he's on the case. Yesterday's frog will be tomorrow's.
The script originally described Ruby as cool and collected, but Tucker felt the character needed to be explosive and unpredictable. Many cast members struggled to keep straight faces during Tucker's takes, and Besson kept the cameras rolling even when scenes went off script. Number 12. Ian Holm's deliberate stutter. Ian Holm decided to give Cornelius a nervous stutter that wasn't written in the script, believing the character would be constantly anxious about the Supreme Being's arrival. Besson loved the choice and encouraged Holm to increase it throughout filming. The stutter becomes more pronounced during moments of high stress, particularly when Cornelius is lying or panicking. Holm based the character's physical nervousness on academics he'd known, people so consumed by knowledge that social situations terrified them. The choice makes Cornelius endearing rather than just expository, giving him a vulnerability that contrasts with his cosmic importance. You can track his emotional state throughout the film by monitoring how severely he stutters. It's a masterclass in character building through small, specific choices that weren't on the page. Number 13. The McDonald's product placement. The Fifth Element features some of the most blatant product placement in science fiction history, with McDonald's paying heavily to appear in the 23rd century. The futuristic McDonald's uniforms, designed by Gautier, somehow make fast food workers look haute couture. The placement was controversial, with critics arguing it broke immersion, but Besson defended it as realistic world-building major corporations would absolutely exist in the future, he argued. The scene where Corbin wins the trip to Flo Paradise through a McDonald's contest was extended specifically to showcase the brand. Interestingly, McDonald's international branches used footage from the film in actual promotional campaigns. Number 14, the Flo Paradise design. The luxury cruise ship Flo Paradise was directly inspired by 1920s ocean liners, particularly the SS Normandy, blending Art Deco elegance with futuristic technology. Production designer Dan Weil studied vintage cruise ship interiors and translated their opulence into a space-age context. The grand ballroom where the Diva performs recreates the proportions and layout of classic ocean liner ballrooms. With the addition of an enormous viewing window into space, every detail was considered, from the staff uniforms to the room key cards to the way hallways curved. Besson wanted luxury that felt timeless rather than dated by tech. Number 15, the cigarette filter gag. Throughout the film, Corbin Dallas smokes cigarettes with absurdly long filters, a running visual gag about future health regulations taken to extremes. The filters get progressively longer as the film continues, starting at a few inches and eventually becoming almost comically extended. This wasn't explained in dialogue, but was Besson's commentary on how society regulates pleasure, making it technically legal but practically difficult. The prop department created multiple versions, with some filters extending nearly 8 inches from the cigarette. Willis struggled to smoke them practically, often holding them at awkward angles. Number 16, the Zorg desk massacre. When Zorg demonstrates his ZF-1 weapon system, saying, "I like the little red button," the destruction is a combination of practical effects and early CGI that still holds up remarkably well. The practical elements included actual explosive charges rigged throughout the mock desk setup, with debris made from lightweight materials that could safely fly around the set. Oldman performed the scene with the real explosions happening around him, giving his reaction genuine danger. Number 17, the Blade Runner homages. Luc Besson filled The Fifth Element with visual references to Blade Runner, the film that defined cinematic cyberpunk aesthetics. The flying car chase through New York directly mirrors Blade Runner's spinner chase, with similar camera angles and lighting choices. The vertical city design, with traffic moving at multiple elevations, comes straight from Ridley Scott's vision of future Los Angeles. Even the color palette, heavy on orange and blue contrasts, echoes Blade Runner's neon-soaked atmosphere. Besson has acknowledged the influence openly, calling Blade Runner the standard for sci-fi world-building. Number 18, the sequel that never was. Luc Besson originally conceived The Fifth Element as the first film in a trilogy, with detailed plans for 2 sequels that would explore other elemental threats. The second film was supposed to reveal more about the Mondoshawan civilization and feature Lilu and Corbin's child, who would inherit both human and supreme being abilities. The third film would have dealt with a cosmic threat even greater than the Great Evil. However, the film's mixed critical reception in America and Besson's exhaustion from the difficult production killed the sequels. Number 19, the Opera House explosion timing. The climactic shootout during the Diva's performance required incredibly precise timing between the opera playback, the stunts, and Milla Jovovich's fight choreography. The sequence was filmed over 6 days, with each setup requiring the music to sync perfectly with specific action beats. Jovovich trained for 3 weeks with a martial arts coordinator to perform the fight herself, refusing a stunt double for most shots. Number 20, the Apocalypse Countdown Clock. The film's ticking clock mechanic, where the great evil approaches Earth at a specific speed, was calculated by actual astrophysicists to ensure scientific accuracy. Besson hired consultants to determine realistic timeframes for an object moving through space toward Earth, factoring in acceleration and distance. The result gave them a 48-hour window from detection to impact, which structured the entire film's timeline. Every scene's timestamp was planned in pre-production to maintain continuity, though many were cut from the final edit. The countdown creates genuine tension because the math actually works, unlike most sci-fi films where timing is arbitrary. Which detail surprised you the most? And what's your take on Ruby Rod's performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, it's a multipass, but not before you like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.